but you.
I couldn't hear you.
Oh, it's been a stressful hour. Sorry. Okay. Nothing working today. Can you hear me?
Yes, and you are now live everywhere. And I will keep you updated on the back end of questions on
Okay.
Facebook and Instagram. Just so
It
you
even
know.
looks like it's like running slow. Oh, I hate it when
You're
it
fine
does
on my
that.
end. All right, you're good to go.
Okay. I'm not running too slow. I am. My computer's running slow. I can see it. It's going to drive me crazy. I even reset my computer. Okay. I'm grumpy. Is anybody else grumpy today? Please tell me I'm not alone. Okay. Shutting down some programs, trying to speed up my computer, guys. Hi, welcome. If I'm not careful, you're going to see my grumpy side. Hey, Shishi and Adela and Crystal. Lori, hello. Welcome, everybody, to my homeschool village. We've got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok all running and inside my homeschool village. And I'm so glad to have you guys join us today. Thank you for being here. I apologize. The last hour has just been like stress. Why does my screen look so dark? I have all these light everywhere, but for some reason, this camera looks dark every time it bugs me. Anyway, okay. So welcome to my homeschool village. We are going to discuss all kinds of fun things today. I had a very interesting experience this week, and I wanted it to make the main topic of being a mom, specifically a homeschool mother. And it's something that I think a lot of us get in our lives. Oh, thought about your menstrual yeah, thank you, Jennifer. She says, yeah, hormonal grumpy. Thought about your menstrual cycle schedule yesterday. Yeah, I'm on the menstrual cycle where I'm like, you guys just get your homework done. I'm not having one of those weeks where I'm like, I'm the good homeschool mom. No, that is not what's happening this week. Okay, so I wanted to discuss, though, today, I'm going to start out with just a quick topic on something I had. And I love that Kelly Gish is here today because this is a comment I got from her once too. But I had a comment today from a teenager who is not in my family, who is dating one of my children, and felt that I was holding my children to too high of a standard. And I thought that was really interesting, and I've been pondering it lately. And so, because I have been accused often of expecting too much of my children, putting too much pressure on my kids. And sometimes I've wondered about that, and I've wondered if there might be some truth to it. And then this weekend, as I was discussing with this young person that felt that I was asking too much of my children, I kind of was, I had a little prayer in my heart, and I found that I got a little answer. And I want to share that with you guys because I think as homeschoolers, we're also accused often of expecting more out of our children because we're willing to pull them out of public school. And I think the fact that we're willing to pull them out of public school immediately states that we are people who expect more. We know that our children could do more, be more, that they deserve a better life, which is why we homeschool, right? But the rest of the world tends to put us down because we aim high for our children. And I think it's a really interesting point of view because I've always been one. I was raised with high expectations. I've always had high expectations, both for me and my family. And so let's talk about that. I want to know, like, how do you ever feel guilty, or do people try to make you feel bad because you know your kids can do more, be more? You have higher expectations. Like, I expect my children to be great people. I don't expect them to be good people. I expect them to be great people. And when I say that, I don't mean that I expect them to be surgeons. And I'm not talking career, guys. I'm not talking about who they need to be in a career. I'm talking about, I expect when they walk into a room for my children to recognize someone who is in need. I expect them to be empathetic. I expect them to be serving others. I expect them to be selfless. I expect them to always look for a way to improve the lives around them, not just leave a place better because they were there, but to leave other people better because they knew them. And these are expectations I have of my children. And I had this young woman told me, she said, I think you put too much pressure on your son. And I think, he might not want to go on that path. He might have a different path. And it was interesting because the path that she felt maybe he should take to me was a step down. It was a settling for something less than what I expect my child to aim for. And so we had a little discussion, and I told her, I said, I just don't see a million paths in life. I see two paths, either a path that leads to God or away from God. That's it. Like, I don't care if they're going to be engineers. I don't care if they're going to be tradesmen, or if they're going to be entrepreneurs, or if they're going to be doctors. I don't care. But I do expect them to be constantly taking a step towards God and not away from. And if that's going to happen, we're going to have a conversation when I see them decide the other way. And so it was interesting. She kind of looked at me with a look like, oh, okay. Kelly says, I'm constantly told by my family that I expect too much from everyone around me. And I think, you know what? I have finally gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but we're going to keep moving forward. If you want to come along, I'm inviting you. But if you don't want high expectations, you stay where you're at. But constant progression is my goal for me, for my children. I want to constantly be better, do better. And I have found that people who put that down don't appreciate that you're being an example to them. It makes them feel bad because they don't want that. I believe that my children have been given. My children have been given everything, all the great that God can give. He's given them parents who love each other. He's given them a family that is willing to make the sacrifices for their education, to be home. They've been given a great education. They've been given a safe, loving environment to be in. And I believe that God expects a lot of them because of that. So I am constantly trying to find ways to help my children reach greatness. And when I say greatness, in that they're kind and loving and hardworking and constantly striving to be better people. And that's what I mean by greatness. And so I just kind of struck me this week. How many people have told me in my life that I expect too much of my children? And I just think, shame on you. I think that children right now are suffering because children are suffering from low expectations of parents. I have a question here. How do you know what God expects versus what parents expect? That's a great question. That's a great question. Let's talk about this. How do we know, or how can you tell the difference between what I expect as a parent versus what God expects of my children? And I think that's kind of a lifelong pursuit. I think in order to get this answer, you have to be studying scripture. You need to be praying about this because and this is something I've had to do a lot as a parent. Sometimes what I expect is not in line with what God wants for them. And I have to make that correction. And I find that when I'm constantly keeping that open communication with him, he will correct me. For example, I thought my oldest daughter has a beautiful voice. And I really thought that she needed to be the prodigy child. And I was going to push this voice and get her in here and get her in this and get her in that. And I was pushing for some sort of famous thing years ago because she was beautiful with a beautiful voice. And I thought that's where she needed to be. And she did not agree with me. She wanted to be a mom. She wanted to use her voice to sing to her children. She loves acting and art, and she loves to use her talent, but she didn't want to use her talent in the same way I thought she should use her talent. And as I got older, I realized she was being directed by God for her talent. I was being directed by fame and fortune and pride. And she was the one who said, Mom, that's not what I want in my life. Let me do my own life here. And at first I was kind of disappointed. I was like, but I realized it was more of a pride issue. And so it's something that it's interesting. It's something that you have to trust your child to come up with, I think. I think this is where faith and discussion with your children comes in. What if the child hears something that is God-centered, but not what I am aiming for? When is it okay to listen to the child? Oh, that is such a good question. Thank you for asking it. It goes with the story I just said. Honestly, you got to listen to the child, because I think as parents, our job is not to create the aim for them. We think as parents that our children are an arrow and we're aiming at a target and shooting. But the truth is we are not the one shooting that arrow. They are their own arrows. And we are the coach standing nearby going, adjust maybe. Do you need some help? And they're going to shoot their own arrow. And it's sometimes at a target we don't expect. So far, I found that my children are better centered than I was. They're less driven by greed and pride than I was. They really want to go after their own lives. And I found that, if I had done what my parents wanted to do, my life would be miserable right now, because they had a different vision for me than I have. A homeschool mom running entrepreneurship. My mom was like, you're crazy to be running a business. Why would you do that? And so you have to let your child work with your child on their own vision for themselves, because God is the one who put the dreams inside them. God is the one who gave them the seeds. And sometimes I think he has to pull us out of the way. I believe that the child's dream is more important than the parent's dream for them, unless the child is just like not aiming. They're just like, whatever, wherever I go, however I do. As parents, it's our job to encourage, not choose and do it for them. I hope that makes sense. What if the child hears something that is God-centered, but not what I am aiming for? And so it's important for us as parents to make sure that we are aligned with God so that we can support our child. It's our job to be God's partner in helping the child reach where they feel they need to be. I found that my kids aim higher anyway. Does that work with student-led learning? And how does this work with your program? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Does that work with student-led learning? Actually, that's exactly what student-led learning is. So you start, your child is learning to find what they like and dislike and how they like to learn in student-led learning. And so slowly what that turns into is a vision for their own life, how to meet that vision. That's where you're hitting in the teen years. In the early years, it's like, okay, you don't like this math, let's try this math, right? Or you're really interested in, for example, my second child and third child were both interested in mechanics, and that's where they wanted to be. But I saw this and I wanted them to go this way. And my third child, I thought, you're a robotics kid. Let's do robotics. And he just didn't want to go robotics, even though he's brilliant at it. He has a different idea. And it's been hard for me to let him have that and go with it and feed it. But as you allow your child to have more choices at a younger age, they get more confident with their own choices at an older age. Does it work with our program? Yeah, it really does. And that's really the point of our program. You can go in and they're working on what they're interested in. And as they lose interest, because they will, and they gain a new interest, you can keep using our program to feed those interests and let go of old ones and take on new ones without having to like start over or buy a new curriculum, right? So our program it's that buffet of learning. It allows for them to taste all of these talents and ideas that they have. And you might see a talent in your child that you think they should pursue, but their true interest might be over here. And it's hard to trust the child. I think one of the hardest things as a homeschool mom is to just trust the child. It's like planting a seed, right? What if I took a seed and I have a pile of seeds of like 10 different seeds, and I pick one out of the bowl and I plant it. Now, I don't really know what that seed was when I planted it. I put it in the ground. I'm hoping it's a rose bush. So I'm going in there and I'm putting the seed in the ground, even though I have all these different seeds, and I'm hoping it's a rose bush. So I start giving it the nutrients of a rose bush, the water content a rose bush needs, the climate change a rose bush needs. But it turns out that it's a tomato plant. So it's trying to grow as a tomato, which needs less water, versus a rose, which needs more. I don't remember all the details. I'm just go with the metaphor here. And so as parents, sometimes we don't know what seed we planted. Like you give birth to this child and you are discovering this child as they go along, and they're discovering themselves. And so if we as parents get into our heads that we are creating and raising a rose bush, but the tomatoes, we could really do damage to that tomato plant, right? And so what we have to do is discover alongside the child. We need to go, okay, the seed is planted. This child has its own personality. I need to trust the seed. I need to trust that God knows what he planted. My job is to create a safe, loving environment where this child can experiment. And that is my job. And then my job is to, as they start to make choices, is to say, how can I help you with this? What resources do you need to further your studies? How much more can I give in order to help you become who you want to be? And that is so hard, you guys, because it requires a level of faith in our children. It requires a great amount of faith in God that he created the seed to do what it needs to do, and a faith in our children that instinct that they've been given will move forward and will grow and be the kind of plant that they need to be. I thought I was growing all wildflowers, and it turns out I've got trees and plants and flowers in my little family, and I've had to sit back and go, all right, what kind of plant are you? My youngest child has had the most freedom because I finally figured out, oh, you're your own plant. I'll just sit and watch what you need, and then as I can sense your needs, I will try and fill those for you. We are almost done with school. Should I sign up now or in the fall? Honestly, now. And the reason is, number one, we go all through summer and we have online programs for summer activities. In my homeschool village and the way we educate, there's no such thing as done. But there's also no such thing as like having like the stress of homeschooling. Learning is just a constant. It's something we do all the time, every day, even if it's 10 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be 3 or 4 hours a day. If your kids are learning 10 to 20 minutes of this book work a day, year round, you have to do less during school hours. So when you're teaching your child that we learn from September to May, shut your brain off in the summer, you're actually teaching them to take a break from learning. And I don't ever want my kids to have that idea. If we might change up how we learn, we might not always learn the same. Sometimes it's more hands-on because it's nice outside, but we don't want our kids to ever take a break from learning. When you become an adult, you don't get to take a break for the summer unless you're a teacher. You still work all year round. So yeah, I would say do it now. Keep your children learning. You don't want to take time off and then have to do all of the whole I've got somebody at my door. They're here to spray for bugs. And my husband's on a meeting. I'm on a meeting. Nobody else is here. They're just got to go back. Okay. I might need to go let him in. Okay, give me 2 seconds here. Sorry, I'm in a meeting. What's up?
Are you Rebecca?
Yeah.
I'm just here with here to your pest control service. Just before I get started, there's a past due balance on the account.
Yeah, I gave a card.
I think they forgot to write it down. That's what it says in the notes, but they forgot to get it.
Okay, I'm like, but the first thing I gave Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a chaotic day. Guys, I am really sorry about this. I have got to take care of this 2 seconds. Heather, you can pop on. Okay.
No, I don't.
Hello, guys. I'm on. Don't know why she wants me on because I'm sick. And I'm going to keep this lovely filter on so you can't see what I have not started today.
Come.
But hello.
Okay. Move.
Hello. People on TikTok can't hear me, but that's okay.
Okay. Sorry. I'm back. I apologize.
Because nobody wants to hear or see this. I
That's
promise.
not true. You're adorable. I don't care. I apologize. I just keep having they can hear me. I was going to ignore the front door, but they can hear me because I'm sitting by it. So he wasn't leaving. I'm going to have to that was my pest solutions coming to get rid of mice and bugs. Anyway. Okay, sorry about that. Let's talk about this. Where are we? Help me out, guys. More phone calls coming in. It's just one of those days. Okay. So I would sign up now if you're looking to join my homeschool village. I love that you're a real life person with real life stuff. Thank you, Kelly. I'm a real life person. There is no faking it here. Okay. So if you're thinking about signing up with my homeschool village, I would do it now and get your kids in and on there. There's no reason for them to stop progressing and learning. And it's not high stress. I don't know what curriculum you've been using, but my homeschool village is really made to be just easy to use. It's made to simplify your life as a mother. It's made to be stress-free, you guys. Once you get homeschooling to be stress-free, it becomes so much more enjoyable. So much more. Hi, Amanda. Hello. Guys. So, okay, ask me your questions. Sorry, I had to disappear for a sec. I am here. People losing internet. It's just like this crazy time. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Questions. How can I help you guys today in your homeschooling journey? What are you running up against that maybe you need some help with? I really want to help you I'm here to make your life easier. Stress less, guilt-free. You can homeschool guilt-free. You can homeschool stress-free. The number one key to homeschooling stress-free is delegating. Just like you delegate to a piano teacher, to the karate teacher, to the ballet teacher. Just like, when my kids were like, hey, Mom, I want to learn ballet. I did not go out and become a professional ballerina so I could teach them ballet. I hired a ballerina teacher. So that's what you do as well with their math and their reading. And that's why we created my homeschool village, so that you don't have to go out, learn all the math, sign them up for my homeschool village, get your math done for you. And then as moms, we're so tired. I don't know anybody tired? I'm still tired. And when you're trying to do everything, you end up to be exhausted. You end up to not have what you really need, what your kids really need, because you're so busy being the teacher, you forgot to be the mom. And then the wife starts to disappear and your husband's like, I'm losing my wife over this. I have had a lot of dads go, my wife's already under a lot of stress, and then she homeschools the kids, and now I don't even have a wife anymore. And it can cause issues in your marriage. And so here at my homeschool village, we're here to save your marriage, guys. We're here to keep your sanity. We're here to show you how stress-free homeschool can be and exactly what to do to keep it stress-free, so that at night you still feel like putting on your makeup for the man. We are women first. We need to be women. We need to be happy, have happy marriages. We still have personal needs, and we need to be able to meet those. And you can't meet those if you're trying to do everything. So let us take some things off your plate so you can still be a happy person. You can still exercise if you want to. You can still, stay up and watch a movie with your husband because you didn't crash at 7 p.m. Maybe you'll actually get through that book that you try to read to your toddler, but you haven't ever gotten all the way through because you fell asleep before you finished. Oh, come on. I am not the only one who's done that. Please tell me. Does pre-K kinder have access to everything in the pro? Yes. Yes, they do. So there is no more upgrading right now. If you go from 1 kid to 2 kids, you have to upgrade. But if you just have the 1 child and you go pre-K to homeschool pro, you've got everything. Yeah. We tried to make that easier for you because there's some great things in the homeschool pro that you can still use for your kindergartners. And we wanted to make that totally available. Okay. Okay. Kelly, do you remember, how did you, Chloe just asked the exact same thing. I would just say,
that was
sorry.
Chloe.
Okay, I'm like,
you weren't seeing it, so I put it up there for you to see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That actually was very helpful. Okay. And I would just sign up for the Homeschool Pro because the kindergarten stuff is in there too. We still have it written separately. I don't know that we even need to, do we, Heather? Like, we could just do Pro because all the kindergartner stuff in there. So why do we sell it separately when it's the same price? I don't know. We're still working out some kinks.
Because it used to be separate.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we sold it separate.
It used to be individually, and We're trying to make it as simple as possible for you guys. In the meantime, it's complicating our lives, but hopefully it's simplifying yours. Never fell asleep reading to him. Did fall asleep at the sink washing bottles, though. Oh my gosh. That's exhaustion right there. And I just think, can we just call a stop to the mom exhaustion? It doesn't have to be, you guys. We don't have to be exhausted all the time. And that it makes us bad moms. And you know what we're teaching our kids? Being an adult is exhausting. I would like to teach my children that being an adult and a mom is a cool thing. Now, I'm still working on exhaustion. I know I still have tired days. Heather says she's been on the same book for herself for a month. Never finished Adam Green Gables with my oldest. I know. My husband actually still does the reading out loud because it will put me to sleep no matter what. But there are ways for us as moms to take care of ourselves so that we're not so exhausted. And one of those things is to sign up for my Homeschool Village Pro so that you can take things off your plate. We are here to take them off. I can tell her how it ends, Kelly. Kelly, we'll just tell you how it ends. Anna Green Gables. I never did read it. Loved the original movies. Hate the new movies. Does anybody prefer the new movies? I've heard that I didn't actually watch them. I've just heard so many of my friends go, ooh, don't ruin Anna Green Gables by watching the new movie. Anybody else agree with that? I'm just curious. I haven't actually watched the new one. Ow. Okay. Okay. Questions, you guys. Hi, Priscilla. Amanda's here. Sorry, guys. It's so good to see all of you lovely people. Oh, Priscilla says, took a week for spring break. Still feel tired. Then take 2. How beautiful is that? You don't have to take just 1. Take 2. It might be that time of the month for you, hon, where you just need more sleep. Yesterday, I was so grumpy and tired. And my husband goes, hold on. Let me check the app. Now, I know I need to get you guys this app. The app that we have, they have stopped selling, and it's menstrual cycle so that your loved ones can follow your menstrual cycle. I'm sorry I don't have it right now. The woman has stopped doing it. We are working on coming up with something so you guys can track your own periods there. Spring break in the village, other than Hannah, is going live at 4 for art. We're doing spring break in the village right now? Really? How did I not know this?
Anne is busy this week moving. So
I didn't know we'd announce spring break in the village.
I did because she's a little stressed out with moving. And so she has not been able to make it. And I am losing my voice every day with a cold. So
Heather's not feeling good. Anne is moving. And we're just, can I just make this little announcement here, you guys? If your children are in virtual village and doing the Minecraft education is sponsored by my Homeschool Village for 2 hours a day. During those 2 hours a day, we are monitoring, we are in there with them, we can hear everything going on. We have discovered that many of the children have decided to break off into their own Discord groups and their own Minecrafts, which they can do, but please understand that during those hours, we are not watching because we didn't even know they could do that. Turns out it was my own son. I was like, it's Saturday morning, it's 7 a.m. What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm on Minecraft. I'm like, but we didn't open it. He said, no, we just created our own group. Well, then one of the kids was being mean. Then they had an issue. Now, granted, they fixed it themselves, which was beautiful. But you have to know that if your children are on during our sponsored hours, we are watching. So if you don't allow your children on, just know that any other hour, if they find a way to connect, you're in charge of that. That's you as a parent. It's on you. This is my first year homeschooling and unschooling 2 of my kids. The stress is coming more from my parents and siblings than from my kids, to be honest. Okay. Yes, that is so true. It always comes from the parents and the siblings. They seem to think that all of a sudden they all get an opinion on how you raise your children. This is where it's time to seriously pull up those big girl pants and be like, my kids, my choice. And it's because there's so many ways. Some days I'm like, face, right? That's what you want to answer with. But the truth is you've got to keep relationships with these people. And so it's important to just be like, I need you to support me in this. And I know you don't have to agree with me, but please support me in this. And sometimes I said, hey, look, you haven't always made the decisions I would have chosen for you. I supported you in that. Can you support me in this? And if they're worried about it, you have to say, just give me 5 years. You'll see. Just give me 5 years. You'll see. And I think that's the hardest part, is believing in yourself enough to know that it will work. And I am here to give you the yes, it will work. In 20 years, it didn't even take 20. It only took them to be teenagers. And they couldn't see the difference until the teen years, when my children were confident, happy adults, and their children were struggling with the social aspect and the different issues. And that's when I started getting support, was when my children became teenagers and they could see the difference. So when you have family members who are like on top of you for this, make sure, that's why you come to us, because we're the ones that go, hold on, it'll pay off. Hold on, it'll pay off. It took my own mother. I mean, she didn't outright go against me, but you could tell she didn't necessarily approve, because she was always trying to fill in my holes or do it her way when she would come over, and it drove my kids crazy. And finally she came to me one day. She was like, oh, I see now. I was like, oh, it only took 15 years. So yeah, the stress will come from parents and siblings, and you have to just get to a point where you have to say, you know what? I'm sorry. I would appreciate, as our relationship, for us, that you support me in this. Trust me. I've had people say, oh, but if you saw my homeschool village and they show our program, and then moms back off. I don't let my kids do anything online. I'm scared of that stuff. Okay. Let me help with that for a minute. Being afraid of online is actually dangerous. And here's why. I have a friend who raised her son to be afraid of online. You guys, it was like online was of the devil. Well, now he's a teenager. Actually, no, he's not. He's in his 20s. He's in his early 20s. He still believes online to be of the devil. He cannot do anything on it. He can't shop. He can't work. He now has no skills online. He can't, it's limited him, and it's made him be fearful. I tell my children that online is okay as long as you are watching. Hi, Tim. As long as you are on the right programs, you're using it for education. We show them how to recognize the bad stuff, how to stay away from the bad stuff. And so I wouldn't allow my children to be free online. I don't let my kids just Google search or YouTube search anything. And all our computers are where I can see screens. We are careful. And this is one of the reasons we created my homeschool village, because I used to find free online programs, and my child would, there would be an ad, and my child would click on an ad that said Tonka truck, and it would turn into porn. So yeah, you need to stay off the free online education, guys. Not a good idea. Free online, bad idea. If there is an ad on there, do not let your child on there. But if they're on my homeschool village's websites, all of the programs we have, we pay for so that you don't have ads on there. Okay. And so they are 100% safe. We have already tested them out on our own kids. We've gone in there and checked and checked and checked. We had one company that had an ad, and I called the owner and I was like, what the heck is this? I cannot work with you if you have an ad. And he goes, no, look. And he's like, the only ad goes to this one program, which is also this, and it has no ads anyway. And I checked and checked, and I clicked and clicked and clicked, and it was fine. So know that it's important for you to teach your children that technology has its place, but it is not here to overrun our lives or to turn us into addicted methods. Oh, hi, Maria Ojeda. Welcome. Oh, Tam, I love it. Technology is a tool. We must teach our kids to use it wisely and with discernment. Oh, see, Tam? It's exactly right. Cousin Tam, you guys, if you are not following her, I highly recommend it. Yeah, and so technology is like a knife. Okay, this is my favorite analogy. If you handed your child a chef's knife, you've seen a chef's knife, beautiful, sharp blade, and if you chop vegetables with that thing, it's like, oh, butter. But then if you hand that chef's knife to a 2-year-old, it is now a weapon, right? They're going to hurt themselves. If you hand it to a bad person with bad intent, it is now a weapon. If you hand it to a chef whose only intent is to cook a beautiful meal, it is now a tool. Technology is the exact same way. Money is the same way. Being rich is not evil. What you do with money is good or evil. So you hand someone who is good and you hand them millions, they're going to do good with money. Someone who's bad and you hand them millions, they're going to do bad with money. Well, it's the same thing with technology. If you are a good person, technology is a tool to do amazing, great things where you're learning and you're sharing and you're serving. If you teach your children to be evil with technology, yeah, they're going to be evil with technology. If you teach your children to fear technology, they're going to go around you. They're going to discover that it's not that scary. And they're going to assume that you didn't know what you're talking about. And now they're going to dig in without your observance, without you seeing, because you think it's evil. So they're going to sneak it and it will become evil. So you have to be careful not to avoid technology out of fear. Anything you fear will come to you, guys. I'm not like, there's a reason God says thou shalt not fear. It's because what you fear will come. And if you fear your kids are going to get lost in technology, you're right. Instead, teach them the positives, the benefits of technology, how to use it, how to keep themselves from cutting. Like, you know, you teach them how to cut vegetables when they're learning to cook, and you teach them how to not cut themselves. Same idea with technology. You teach them how to use the technology without cutting themselves. And it's vital. It's vital to their future. The world is now technology. And if they can't do it, you are limiting your kid. So teach them how to do it properly. And Kelly says, keep going. They will eventually change their tune. Thank you, Kelly. And she's referring to the stress coming from parents and siblings. I love that. Thank you. What do you have inside of the program for teaching them how to do it properly? Oh, what a great question. So number one, most of our programs are online. They are actually on there. Okay. Inside typec.com, which is one of the programs in there, there's an entire education program on how to use computers. It's how to use the Excel, how to use Microsoft, how to use these things as tools. And then as parents, we do not allow technology in their bedrooms, period. They don't need that kind of temptation. There's no phones. We buy them alarm clocks. There is no use. So we have this conversation constantly. All computers, including moms and dads, have screens where everybody can see. Why? Because we're protecting each other. So we have this conversation. Computers where I can see the screen, and we're having the conversation. And I'll say, look, they'll say, hey, Mom, can I search? My one said, can I search new Nerf guns on Amazon? No, but I can sit with you and do it with you. And I'll sit with him and we'll be like, all right, what do you want to search? And I'll help him search. And the reason is, and we discuss it. So yeah, my homeschool village, the whole thing, if your kids use it, they will learn to use they will learn to use technology for learning. And that's really the key. And then the discussion has to continually happen. You have to make sure they're protected as well. The Minecraft education inside our virtual village, my son has gotten a little bit overboard on it. He loves it so much. And yesterday I was like, dude, 2 hours, you're done. And when he was getting bored, he was hopping on if Mom was busy. And I was like, no, this is a tool. And this tool, you're abusing the tool. And if you can't stop abusing the tool, you don't get it anymore. And we had to have that discussion this week. Even with Minecraft education, you can spend 2 hours on there when everybody's on there, but you're not on there when I'm not watching, period. Stop it. And I was like, he's like, sorry, Mom, you're right. And I was like, that's your only warning. The next time you're done. And he knows it because I follow through on those kinds of things. I need to hear that. My 15-year-old is staying up too late due to TV watching. Oh, yeah, you got to be careful because something about nighttime watching is when they're really tempted. We don't do TVs in bedrooms. I have them in my bedroom because that's the only place my husband and I can ever be alone, and we'll watch a movie together, but it's in my room. And they're allowed to use that TV in my room when they're sick. They'll lay in our bed and watch TV. But I only allow that TV to be when they're sick and just like flip in. They don't get to flip through channels. They get Living Scripture. Living Scripture is an app like Netflix, anything else. It's like $75 a year. My kids are allowed to watch anything on there they want when they're sick. But it's all educational. So win-win on that. Okay. What do you recommend for sixth graders? How does the day work? Okay. I actually have a child this age right now. So I love that you asked this question. Yeppy. What's Yeppy, Maria? She says, we have Yeppy. I don't know what Yeppy is. Oh, look at that. Yuppie, huh? Yeah, tell me what that is. I want to know what that is. Hey, sixth grader. My sixth grader right now goes into my homeschool village, and I'm starting videos. If you'll watch our social media, you'll see I'm going to start posting the videos of what his day is like. He gets on there, he clicks on Type-C. He does all of his typing, and his typing also includes either a science or a history lesson that he's typing up. Then he moves to Generation Genius, also in my homeschool village, and he does a science video, and he does the lesson, and then he does a math video, and he does the lesson. Then he goes into study.com, where he has a couple of subjects in there he does, and I have already set it all up, and he just clicks the tabs that are saved for him. He actually was going to show me how to do that. Yeah. And he literally just goes click, click, click. So he's using, last year he used Starfall because he struggled with reading. He didn't really love it. So I put him on the Starfall, and he just went all the way through it. And now he's reading really, really well. So we don't do that anymore, but we did. But he right now is doing Type-C for his writing. And then he's also going through, he's using the scripture, what's it called? Living Scripture. And he's doing his history with Liberty's Kids right now, which at first I thought, well, it's kind of a cop out. But the truth is he's learned a lot and has been talking to me about Liberty's Kids. And it's a, for those of you who don't know, it's a cartoon. It's a historical cartoon based on the Declaration of Independence, and it's adorable. And he's learned so much. He's actually been tying it into Hamilton. So the only songs we let him hear, by the way. We do edit that. And he's learning a ton. So that's what we've been doing this year. It changes every few months because he's like, okay, nailed it. And he moves really fast. So he just keeps moving as fast as he wants. So yeah, I use my homeschool village. And that's what I recommend you do. It's a Christian-based app, kind of like Netflix, but it's only for Christian-based shows. Oh, cool. See, that's what Living Scriptures is. It's also Christian-based. It's all Christian-based, but they have an entire homeschool app inside the app. So you can click on homeschool and get a ton of history lessons and stuff. But I'm going to look that up. Thank you. Yes, my little sister, the Starfall, and she is reading now. I'm telling you, there are a few online programs. We have tried Reading Eggs. And I found that the kids didn't seem to progress very well on that. We tried ABC Mouse. That was great for a few months. And then they got bored and were like, Mom, there's no challenge. I can't figure out why ABC Mouse just doesn't, like, there's no progression with ABC Mouse. We tried several programs. Our favorite, best, hands down, has been Starfall. Starfall has helped my children's reading levels, math levels. 2 of my children taught themselves to read on Starfall, also inside Homeschool Pro. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. Yuppie. Okay, I'm looking into Yuppie. Let's look into Yuppie. I'm looking for a program right now that we can include with Homeschool Village that they will give us access to. So I will look at Yuppie. Living Scriptures hasn't quite figured out what I'm talking about. I've talked to 4 different people over there, and they just don't get what I'm trying to do. And so I'm like, we're going to wait till you guys figure it out. I might go check with Yuppie, though, and we'll see. I'm trying to get them included. Because that's the whole point, right, guys, is using our numbers as homeschoolers to get better prices for all of us. And that's what we've done. That's what we're continually doing. We're constantly going, look, there's a bunch of us. Let's join our numbers and get better prices for everybody. That's what we do. Hi, Dana. Welcome. Where have you been, Maria? Maria Ojeda, mijita. Yolanda Perez Flores, welcome. Bienvenida. Soraya joined. Hi. Kelly, yes, what? What? I don't know. Because I talk too fast. Okay. Do we have a giveaway, Heather? Having problems with my boy not wanting to do any reading is driving me crazy. How old is he? That will tell me a lot. I have found, and I wish, like, I don't know, maybe somebody tried to tell me this when I first started homeschooling, but my boys weren't interested in reading until at least 8 years old. He's 11. Okay. That's okay. So does he like to listen? Like, he's not interested in reading out loud to himself, anything at all. And does he wear glasses? Have you had his eyes checked? I have found that, make sure the eyes are working. I have discovered that I had one son for a year. He was like, I just don't want to read. I don't want to read. I don't want to read. Finally, I took him in and they were like, well, he can't see the words. It's like, oh, oops. Probably should have figured that out. They got him glasses and now he's reading like crazy. That was part of the process. The other part is helping them fall in love with stories. So my current 11-year-old, Kay, just in the last month fell in love with reading, literally. So for the last year, my husband has been reading to him Ranger's Apprentice. I don't know if you guys have been in. Oh, yippee. Oh, thank you. YIPPE. Okay. That's okay. Thanks, Maria. And what he did was, so Ranger's Apprentice, if your sons have not seen this book yet, I highly recommend you get this. This will get them so hooked. I loved it. I read it first, then gave it to my husband, then he read it. Then he read it to our kids. But 12-book series, every night my husband would go up to my son's room, lay on his bed, and read to him Ranger's Apprentice for like a half an hour a night. And he did it for a year. And my son fell so in love with these stories that by the last book, I think my husband had to go out of town or something, and my son could not he was like, I have to know what's going on. So we picked up the book, started reading, and was like, wait, I can read chapter books. Within a week or two after that, my daughter was introducing me to, what's it called? Keeper of Lost Cities. She fell in love, talked about it to him. He picked up the first book, read the first book in just a few weeks. And I was like, oh, he went from Dog Man to a book this thick, reading on his own because he fell in love with stories. He wanted the stories so bad. So I have found that one of the most important things you can do is not worry about the reading so much as helping them fall in love with stories, even if that means listening to them, whether on CD, Overdrive. I don't know if that's what you guys have with your library. I like Scribd. Our book club inside the virtual village. A lot of kids are falling in love with stories through our book club. They're going in, they're listening to the book together, they're discussing the book, then they watch the movie. We're finding a lot of kids loving that book club. You could try that. Go try in the virtual village. A lot of kids are doing the book club and getting interested in reading. A spinoff series started in 2011. The Brother Band Chronicles is set in the same universe though with new characters. Yes, I haven't read it yet, actually. I want to do the Brother Band series. And that's the next step. We need to do that too. He's just so into the book I just said. What's it called? I can never remember the name of it. Anyway, Keeper of the Lost Cities. Very cute. Much better than Harry Potter. I have some of my kids fell in love with reading through Harry Potter. My husband read that out loud to them. Some of my kids fell in love with reading through Keeper of the Lost Cities. Thank you. But I still have one child, my middle child, who still does not love reading. He's 17. He will not read a book or even listen to a book anymore. He grew up listening to books and listening to his dad read. If dad reads, he will come out and pull out his Legos and sit next to dad and do Legos or a puzzle while dad reads. But I still, at 17, can't get him to just read a book on his own. And it used to frustrate me until I realized my husband was the same. My husband had never really sat and read a book for enjoyment until he was in his 30s. And he's a smart man. He really is. He just didn't know or care. And when he had heard Harry Potter was coming out, his first chapter book my husband read was Harry Potter when he was in his 30s. And now he loves it and he reads to the kids. And sometimes it's just, oh, hi, baby. Hi.
Hi, baby.
What you doing?
That's right now. Why?
Star of the show.
She wants to play outside, and I told her that I couldn't because I didn't feel very good today, and she's telling you about it. But so I told her we had to come tell Becky that I don't have a giveaway planned.
You don't or do?
And I don't have one planned, and she's got me pretty busy, so I'm gonna be here, but I'll let you take over.
Okay. That's fine. Oh, you sweet baby girl. Bye, honey. Oh, isn't she?
Sorry. Go ahead. Blow her another kiss.
Bye,
Mwah.
sweetheart.
She's blowing you kisses.
Bye.
Bye. That is Heather's. I want to. What do you call? I want to call her your grandbaby. She's kind of a grandbaby, right? Yeah, we're gonna call her a grandbaby. Okay. What was the name of the book my husband would read from? It was called Ranger's Apprentice. Ranger's Apprentice is well written. It's fun. You'll enjoy it, moms. And I think the best book you can read out loud is one mom wants to read too. Like if you're reading a book where you're just like, oh my gosh, the story does not interest me, you don't want to read it. And then they'll find a book that you enjoy reading if you're going to read out loud. Ranger's Apprentice, I highly recommend. I have read the series like 3 or 4 times. And then I would like buy one book on Amazon, like $8, and then I'd read it. And then I'd buy the next book on Amazon and I'd read it. And then, it is one of my favorites. And Keeper of the Lost Cities, I found it to be, for me, a little too much information. And I was like, okay, move along already. But my kids love it. Okay, just checking our questions here. Veggie Tales, yes. Okay, so Yippee has Veggie Tales. Does it have Tuttle Twins? Have you seen the new Tuttle Twins cartoons? Loving those. My kids are learning so much and they're funny. I like watching it with them. We have all the Tuttle Twins books, love Tuttle Twins. And honestly, I learned the most interesting thing on Tuttle Twins. Did you ever realize that the government should not own the driver's license division? I was like, wait, what? They shouldn't be competition for the driver's license division. If they did, driver's licenses and all of those things, like, I was like, it's unconstitutional for the government to own the driver's license division. Yeah, that's what I learned from Tuttle Twins. Okay. Bible stories, cartoons. Hi, Balance Roots. Welcome. Okay, so Yippee sounds great. I'm going to check on Yippee. I've heard Prager U is pretty good too. I'm checking that out. But yeah, we will find a partner that would like to join us and be included in our membership so we can get you guys one. It's been something I've been working on for a while, and I will continue because now I got Yippee to look at. We'll look. How much is the year subscription, Maria? Ouch. Sorry. I just got a little notification that the bug place just rang my card, and I guess they haven't rang it for the last 3 times they've been here, and I just got hit with like a $350 bill. Okay, that'll be fun. Okay, real life, people, real life. Running a home while running a business is real. How many of you are running a business or working from home? Can you guys give me like thumbs up? Oh, $49 a year. I'm gonna go talk to him. That's half the price of Living Scripture. I'm gonna check that out. Okay. How many of you are working from home while homeschooling? Or plan on it, or expect to be doing so soon? Childcare, like you're paying childcare, or you do childcare. Okay. How many of you are looking for something to do? Like, oh, Chloe has a business, work from home. It's kind of the thing now. Like as a homeschoolers, most of us are now learning, as we're learning to have more freedom in our lives. We're realizing that we need a little more freedom in our businesses, and I think. Or through companies and through making money. And my homeschool village is ideal for the working mom. Guys, it is like the education for the working mom. My children are literally being educated while they're sitting next to me on a computer. I can see what they're doing. They can see what I'm doing. And it's such a beautiful working relationship because I'm overseeing the math and that they're getting the things done, but I don't have to do it. Yeah. I really wish we had my homeschool village 20 years ago. I probably wouldn't have stressed out so much about homeschooling. Yes, I'm a provider, but I am interested. What you sister-in-law does, or is it your sister that does? What? Sorry, I'm a provider, but I'm interested in what your sister-in-law does, or is it your sister that does it? Oh, remind me what that is. Sorry, you threw me off. My sister or sister-in-law, I'm thinking, what am I? I have a sister who does stickers, cute custom stickers. She runs a business on Etsy, does very well doing it. And she's looking to sell her business if anybody's interested. Is that who you're talking about? But yeah, working from home, you guys, is awesome. It can have a lot of stressful times. Not going to lie. But so does anything. Like leaving home is just as stressful because either way, you're trying to do everything. So as moms, like in the past, you mentioned working from home and could learn to do what she does. Okay. I probably did. I work from home. My sister works from home, working on Etsy. I'm trying to think through my family members right now. I have another sister-in-law who works from home doing bookkeeping for companies. I just think it's the future. My own husband works from home now for NASA. It probably was Etsy. It's called Cute Custom Stickers on Etsy, and she does the cutest stuff. Anybody wants to buy a business, she's ready to go back to school and get a bachelor's degree. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. So how else can I help you guys today? Really, our whole focus here at My Homeschool Village is making homeschooling stress-free. You don't need to do it all. In today's world, we can't. Excuse me. Sorry. Woo. I've heard about bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is a great online job. Medical, what is it when the transcriptionist? My sister's done that. That's a great way to work from home. There are a lot now, you guys, if you know tech. And that's why one of the reasons we need to teach our kids tech, because I have a 20-year-old, my 20-year-old who is in Peru right now. She'll be home in July. And she and I have had medical coding. Thank you. That's what it's called. She and I were discussing, she's like, Mom, she went for 1 year of college. And we had the discussion about college and school after, right? And she's like, well, I want to go back to college. I said, that's fine. But what is it that you want to major in? Well, I don't know. I said, well, no. We're not just going to college and spending thousands of dollars for kicks. So let's talk about it. So with our kids, we sit down with them. We go, let's start at the top. Where do you want to end up? And it doesn't mean like I want to be rich. I want to be a doctor. No. Do you want to be the stay-at-home mom homeschooling your kids? Is your husband, like I had this conversation with my son-in-law just a little while ago. And he's like, I used to think I wanted to be an engineer. Now I realize I want to be a stay-at-home dad who helps homeschool my kids. And I want a career that supports that. Excuse me. Got something stuck in my throat. And I thought that was so interesting because he didn't even want to homeschool at first. And now he's like, I want to change it. I want to find a career that I can be home with my kids more. I'm like, how gorgeous is that? My own son has said that. My own son has said, I don't care what I do for a living. I just want to be able to be available to my kids and help homeschool my children. I'm fine. Okay. Excuse me. And I just thought, what a beautiful thing that the next generation is looking at their lives differently. They're reinventing reality. It's not about dad goes and leaves anymore in the next 20 years. It's about how can mom and dad together create a family. It's like we're going back 100 years with future tools. And it is beautiful. And so we had this conversation with my daughter about going back to college. And so we were like, okay, where do you want to be? Do you want to be the woman who's gone all day working, or do you want to be at home with your kids? And she's like, well, I want to homeschool my kids. Okay. What if your husband dies? What are you going to do? Right? You've got to be able to do something financially. And so when we worked backwards and then we're like, all right, here are some options to do at home, but what kind of a lifestyle is that going to give you? If you're making 20 grand a year, 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year, what's your lifestyle going to look like? What lifestyle do you want to be living in? So we start with the end in mind and work backwards. And she and I had this beautiful conversation about the time she wanted to be able to spend with her own children and her spouse, the money she wanted to be making at the time, the amount of hours she wanted to be working, and what did that leave her? Now, granted, luckily she's a beautiful coder. She loves to code. She's like, Mom, I think I could be a coder and do all that. I'm like, now you know what road to take. Now let's sign you up for the classes you need. And so you've got to help your kids start with the end in mind and work backwards instead of going, well, we'll learn math. Well, maybe an engineer. Well, maybe I've had this conversation with so many nieces and nephews going, stop. Where do you want to end up? And they're like, nobody's ever asked me that before. School is such a failure. Why are we not starting with the end in mind? What kind of lifestyle do you want? How much money do you want to be making? Do you want to live in a nice house or do you want to live in a small house? Do you want to live in a city or a country? Do you want to live and start with that end in mind and help your children create a plan backwards. My middle child has decided to be a comic actor, recording audiobooks, and why not? How beautiful. We are doing voices. Cool, right? I love that our homeschool kids just think outside the box. They just do. All right, you guys, it's been an hour. I don't want to take up too much of your time here. I know you got busy lives ahead of you and children to homeschool and jobs to work and we are here for you to help you stress-free homeschool. And if you need help in any way, let us know. How can we help take more off your plate? If you haven't already signed up for the Homeschool Pro, I highly recommend it. This is the best tool we have been able to provide to help mothers simplify their lives. But we are always trying to better it as well. Heather, go ahead.
You will not be live next week. You're traveling.
Oh, that's right. We're going to be in Ohio. So Heather and I are going to the Cincinnati, Ohio Great Homeschool Convention. We will have a booth there. So if anybody's in Ohio, would love for you to stop by. If you stop by, TikTok is cutting me off. If you can stop by the booth. We will give you a gift. It's like hundreds of dollars worth, guys. It's a thumb drive and it's got hundreds of PDFs on there that you can use. If you are a member of My Homeschool Village, you already have access to it. It's in there. If you are not and you come to the booth, we'll give it to you. But we would love to see you. Please come meet us. In the meantime, we will not be live next week. So I will see you in 2 weeks. So don't come looking for us here. Otherwise, we'd love it. You are so welcome. Thank you for being here, you guys. Very much appreciate it. Have an amazing homeschool week, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Happy homeschooling, everybody.